Hello everyone, welcome aboard to Boating Nomad. Sometimes, boating is a lot like driving a car. Incident is a problem that always exists and goes hand in hand with the rotation of the propeller. However, the real story isn't that incidents happen, it's how they happen. I mean, some of these captains made mistakes so basic, you'd swear common sense had taken a day off. Today, we're diving into 15 situations where the boat crashed into hard rocks, done by boneheaded boaters themselves. So get your life jackets ready, and pat on the forehead, because the ride is going to be bumpy. Let's go. The famous American writer F. Scott Fitzgerald once said, "First you take a drink, then the drink takes a drink, then the drink takes you." That quote may be nearly a century old, but man, it fits this captain like a life jacket 2 sizes too small. He was driving a squid fishing boat while drunk, then kept the speed straight towards a rocky embankment in Monterey, California. Of course, he was arrested by the police immediately after. However, what I found quite impressive in this incident was the impact resistance of the squid fishing boat's hull. It was really good. I mean, think about it. High speed, hard collision, nearly a perfect 90-degree angle, and that hull was almost unaffected. Perhaps I will have to immediately find out the brand that manufactured this boat. It took the hit better than the captain took his liquor. Let's take a quick break from our drunk captains. When it comes to boating, you and I both know, the risk of being tossed overboard is very real. The smaller the boat, the greater the risk. That's why federal law requires anyone operating a vessel under 26 feet to wear an engine cutoff switch. Simple enough, right? But somehow, a surprising number of boaters either don't get it or just treat it like an optional fashion accessory. A recent incident off the coast of Branford, Connecticut, earlier this July, gave us a textbook example of why that little switch exists in the first place. In some countries, since it's not actually written into law yet, everything's still at the strongly recommended stage, which is basically code for you should, but no one's really watching. As a result, incidents like this happen more often than they should. This incident was recorded in Cala di Volpe, Italy, where an unmanned boat crashed straight into the rocks after the captain was thrown off the boat. In the Turks and Caicos Islands, another boneheaded captain caused a similar incident.
Runaway boat. Oh my God. What the fuck? Holy shit.
Even in an environment that promotes strictness and discipline like the military, this issue is still taken light. This incident occurred during a Royal Malaysian Navy exercise in mid-May 2025. The boat driver was thrown off the boat along with 2 other soldiers before the unmanned boat and the remaining 2 soldiers collided with a civilian boat. It only stopped when it hit the rocks. This incident happened in late July 2025 on the Livingston Canal near Grosse Isle, Michigan. I'm not sure how fast this guy was going before he launched his Sea Ray onto those rocks. But if I had to guess, I'd say at least 30 miles per hour. What really caught my eye though was the towel he used to cover the her name after the incident. Subtle, classy, little damage control never hurts, right? It tells me one thing, the guy was okay, and more importantly, still had enough brain cells firing to care about her reputation. And honestly, I respect that. Speaking of respect, now let's focus on the attitude of this man who is fishing. A boat crashes hard into the rocks just a few feet away from him, and the guy barely flinches. No panic, no startle jump, nothing. Strange, right? I mean, as human beings, we're hardwired with a natural response system. When danger gets too close, our bodies usually go into oh no mode all on their own. Unless, of course, we've seen it so many times, we no longer register it as a threat. This shows that this guy fishing in this position for quite a long time, and the boats crashing into the rocks in front of him happen quite often and continuously. And honestly, I really do not understand how captains operate in this case. Sometimes you've got all the skills and preparation, but even top-tier talent means nothing if it's applied in the wrong terrain. During the dry season, parts of the Iratapuru River in Brazil become much more intense, with faster currents, rocky shallows, and unexpected rapids. To handle the rough section, this guy did something clever. He placed a big man at the front of the boat, likely for balance, and to be fair, he navigated the approach almost flawlessly. Almost. Unfortunately, it seems he underestimated the power of the current and slightly overestimated the horsepower of his outboard. Because, as we all know, confidence is great until the river reminds you who's really in charge. Anyway, he's still a very skilled captain. It was just an unfortunate miscalculation, that's all. I mean, his reaction time and overall handling were miles ahead of some of the clumsy boaters out there like this guy. Honestly, sometimes in my dreams, I can't even imagine how some boneheaded boaters handle situations. It's like their brain cells are operating on a completely different frequency, and that's probably why the rest of us just can't seem to sync with their way of thinking.
Il va taper.
How wonderful it would be if at the moment of New Year's Eve, we could sit on a luxury yacht, with friends and family floating on the open sea, sipping wine and welcoming the new year under the stars. But, as we all know, there's often a wide gap between what we imagine and what actually happens. During the countdown to 2025, this elegant yacht was carrying 15 tourists to visit the famous La Quebrada Cliffs in Acapulco, Mexico. However, I do not understand why the captain let his boat get too close to La Quebrada Reef. Maybe the crew was trying to satisfy the request of some tourists on board at that time, wanting to get closer to see the diving program held here. Unfortunately, at that time, the waves and winds were very strong. The yacht was pulled into the cliff, causing it to collide with the rock and sink shortly after. Some local news sources claim the engine failed. However, in my opinion, this was only a secondary cause after the boat got stuck between the rocks and the captain tried to power it free. Luckily, all the tourists and crew were safe after being rescued by nearby boats and divers.
¡Sebastián! ¡Sebastián! ¡Sebastián!
And let's be honest, handling a boat in big waves is a serious challenge, even for experienced sailors. So if you're a newbie, the waves can easily turn you into a boneheaded boater in front of many people around you. I remember hearing an old Eastern proverb that goes something like, Who has ever won without first tasting defeat? Who grows wise without first being a little foolish? The truth is, most of us have had our own boneheaded boater moments before we ever got good at handling a boat. So I hope next time you set sail, know your boat, use your brain, and please don't appear in the next episode. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this madness, and don't forget to subscribe for more boneheaded moments captured. Bye.